Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. A lot of points. I have a lot of points that I want to hit on. So, first things first, the dream of independence, right? When I was younger, I actually wanted to work because I liked the idea of having money outside of just asking my parents for it. I found a lot of simple, easy little jobs, and my very first job was at this, I'm pretty sure it was an MLM scam called Cutco, and basically you had to sell kitchenware like knives and pots and pans and things like that, but these were very expensive, like $600 kitchen appliances. And how I saw it after the fact was like they wanted your parents and family and close friends to buy stuff from you because it's your first job, and they want you to feel like, oh my gosh, I gotta support you. But my parents told me, like, we can either buy this knife set or we can buy you what you want. Like, it's your choice. And so I decided, okay, forget these knives. Like, I'm going to get the gift. Um, and so that was, like I said, my very first job. And I decided to leave, of course, because I wasn't really getting any benefit out of that. But it was a very cute first job. It did make me feel so good when people would be like, oh, I want to buy from you. Like, it just felt good as a kid, as a 16-year-old kid. I think I was either 15 or 16 at the time. I was just very proud of myself. And then I came to the realization very shortly after. I got a couple other jobs, like in fast food. Well, not fast food, but I worked at this place called Egg Slut in Beverly Hills. I worked marketing. What else have I done? I did production assisting. I did a couple of other jobs, and I realized in a lot of those jobs, it wasn't the work that I hated, it was the people. It was the hierarchy, it was the cliques, it was the drama, like things that I just did not sign up for when I applied for these jobs. And I started to realize that people probably have no life outside of this because they wrapped so much of their life at work. And I never did that because I always knew I came to work to make money and then I left to go live my life. Work was never my life. I started kind of understanding and seeing more once I turned about 19. And even at that time, it was still more simple. I feel like there wasn't too much. And if you guys see me looking over, it's because I'm looking at my notes. But yeah, it was just a lot of energy vampires in my job and a lot of people who just want to cause chaos at work because that's the only place they feel like they have control. And once I really started to settle with that fact, I knew that this was not something that I could do forever because I started to realize that it was a pattern. No matter what workplace I went to, it was always something. And for me, that was unacceptable for my mental health. And I know a lot of people laugh because they're like, oh my gosh, Gen Z, they're so mental health focused, they're so sensitive. But just for me personally, I was not getting paid enough to put my mental health on the back burner. Like, I was not, the job wasn't even that much or that important to me for me to feel like I would even begin to put myself second, like ever at all. So I really started feeling like, okay, am I doing something wrong? In the very beginning stages, I started to question myself a lot. Am I doing something wrong? Why are these people acting like this? Like, because I wasn't understanding the game in its entirety. So it started to confuse me, and I was like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Because this isn't working, and this is also not working. So where does that leave me? I felt like I did not fit in, and eventually I would be excluded. In the very beginning, I'm not gonna lie, it did bother me and it did rack my brain because it made me think, why am I being excluded? What did I personally do to be treated this way? But as I started gaining more experience in the workforce, I guess, the more and more that I seen that it's a pattern amongst people across the board. It doesn't matter what type of people, it doesn't matter what job you're at. There's always going to be people that want to make your life more difficult. And there's always going to be people that you don't align with when you have bigger your aspirations, your intentions are just a lot bigger than the workplace that you're at. You can't ever really fully be yourself because people automatically want to target you because they feel like you're better than them. And I realized I was not fitting in this little system, this little box that essentially I was told that I needed to fit in. I just wanted to do my job and go home. Like, I did not care. Do work, go home, live my life, be grateful, thank God. That's it. I didn't want to come to work and feel like I had to have control over my workplace, because I have control at home. I don't need that at work. But a lot of people don't have that at home, so they have to do it to other people at work, unfortunately. Another thing that really genuinely confused me was just why people cared so much about the office politics. Like, if you didn't agree with everything, then you were just a terrible person. And mind you, these are jobs that are very not political. Like, this is a restaurant serving job. This is a bartending job. Like, these are things that you wouldn't automatically think would be so political. And when I say political, I really don't even mean just like about politics in itself. I mean the politics of the job. Like, there's just so many things. And when I was in college, well, I'm still in college right now, but when I was in earlier part of my college years, it was a little bit more relaxed. I feel like people weren't so anal about everything, and it was just a different type of energy for sure. But now I 100% felt like an outsider, because I just knew, like, I don't fit in here, and I don't want to force myself to fit in here, because I spent so long racking my brain trying to understand what I was doing incorrectly. But the only thing I was doing incorrect was having peace of mind, having a life, and being an individual and not a group thinker. So once I really sat back and looked at my life and was like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. This is not for me. I will be miserable. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. As a person who loves adventure and loves exploring and loves trying new things, I love variation. I do. I love to be able to go out and do something and the next day do something else. So, number one, it's not that I don't like a routine. I just don't like mundane, like consistent routines, which I've been on my manifestation, my meditation journey, and I realized that consistency is incredibly important. So don't get me wrong. It's not the consistency I have an issue with. It's just the sameness. Because you can have a consistent routine, but that doesn't mean that you do the same thing every single day. For example, today I can wake up, take my vitamins, drink chlorophyll. Tomorrow I can wake up, take my vitamins, and drink some clove tea. It doesn't have to be the same exact thing every single time. But that got me thinking about entrepreneurship. And coming from the background that I come from, my parents are already entrepreneurs. My dad has never had a regular job my entire life. So it wasn't surprising to me or anybody else that I did not fit in that little mold. So I know a lot of people already know this about entrepreneurship, but nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is promised. Nothing is for sure. Nothing is really consistent. And you're going to be working probably more hours than you work at your typical 9 to 5. But to me, all of that sounded so much better than working at a job I hate with people I don't like, having to deal with personalities and people that don't align with myself, and also not making enough money to deal with it. I will say that freedom doesn't automatically come with stability, of course, but that's a risk that I'm willing to take and that I was willing to take. Because for me, I didn't care. As long as my needs were met and I can provide for myself and I don't have to worry about, does Billy Bob like me? Does Susie not like me? Is this person jealous of me? Are they going to try to make my work life harder because something about me just rubs them the wrong way? I never wanted to deal with that, and I still don't. So I will say, what social media does not tell you about freedom is it's not glamorous. It's very uncertain. It's very lonely. You doubt yourself all the time. Like, I know everybody's like, oh my God, click this course in my bio and you're going to learn financial freedom and you're going to make $1 million and you're never going to work again in your life. Like, In reality, that's just not the real. That's really not the real. Most people will not. Now, a lot of people can be more comfortable than they are in their current situation, but most people will not become millionaires. I'm not one of those people. I'm already a millionaire, boo. Because over here, we speak things as if they happened because they have. So, I'm grateful to be a millionaire and to be married to one as well. I'm saying, anyways, social media packages freedom as glamorous, as certain, as, but in reality, it's lonely. You doubt yourself constantly all the time. Is this right? Am I doing it right? Am I wrong? Uncertainty, how often you question yourself, how often you may even think, let me go back to this 9-to-5 job because it's comfortable for me. It's comfortable and I have to pay my bills, which I blame nobody for thinking like that because it's real. It's the truth. The real cost of freedom. There's no guaranteed paycheck. There's no predictable outcome. There's not a clear roadmap. What works for you may not work for the next person. What works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. There's constant uncertainty. And as a person who likes stability in my life, that just goes to show you how much and how tired I was being in the situations that I was in, because I'm willing to take the risk to have uncertainty for the possibility of stability and certainty. You have to leave behind what's familiar in its entirety. You walk away from everybody that understands you in a conventional way, and you're building without knowing if it'll work. That, I feel like, is the most daunting part, because you're putting so much time, effort, and energy into something that could be nothing. It could be everything. It could be a life changer, but it could also be nothing. And that's a reality that I won't say you want to align yourself with, but you just need to be aware of. Because that particular thing that you're doing may not be the thing that changes your life. It may not be the thing that you need to be doing. You might need to be doing something else. So there's always that. Cost you relationships. Some people won't understand your choices. Some people will think there's something wrong with you, or that you're unstable, that you're an unstable person because you can't lock down one particular thing. I've dealt with that. People just being like, why don't you just choose something and just go with it? And it's because I already know how I feel and I already know how I am, and I don't want that for myself. It costs, it's going to cost validation. You're not going to get validation from people. You're not going to get claps from people. You have to learn to move without seeking approval from anybody, because you're going to be doing this more than likely by yourself alone. It's going to cost you your mental peace and calmness at first. Not permanently, but initially you're going to have some hardships with just keeping up here as peaceful as it can be, because there's so many different things running through your mind, especially when you first start. You have to learn how to trust yourself, have discernment, and trust your gut, which I'm very good at those things now. I trust my discernment, I trust my gut, and I also am big on faith. I have faith when it comes to everything. If something doesn't work out, that means that it wasn't meant for me, either at that time or from that particular person, direction, path, whatever. I don't look at anything as a failure anymore, because it's not. It's just a lesson, or it's just I'm supposed to be on another path. One of the most important things that I've learned along this journey is that it will cost you your old identity. You have to completely let go of who you thought you were. You have to let go of your perception of yourself. You have to let go the perception that other people have of you, and you have to be okay with not being understood by people, because they're probably not going to understand it. And I promise you, you don't want to waste your time trying to explain your actions and your life and your plan to people who probably never ever even sat with themselves and thought about anything real a day in their life. That's just my opinion. Even though after all of the things I just said, I still feel like entrepreneurship is the way for me, is because when you're a peaceful person, you become a target. People want to target what they don't understand, or they want to target what they feel they don't have. So even if you've gone through the worst things in your life, but you have faith and you have peace and you have a certain light and energy about yourself, there's going to be somebody trying to attack that. And it does not have to be because of how you look. You can carry yourself in a way that people don't like. You can just be a peaceful person and not feed into things, and they will hate that. They will absolutely hate that. And for me, the trade-off is all worth it. I like having peace and I like doing what I want. I don't want to have to, I'm not worrying about you. One thing a lot of people really want you to do, they want you to be concerned. They want a reaction. They want you to step out of your character because they want to try to put you in a specific category. And when they can't place you, then they start to hate you because they don't understand you. So I will say it's not always personal. Sometimes it's people and their demons. Sometimes it's ignorant people. Sometimes they don't even know why they're acting like that. But regardless, you're grown, so you need to figure it out. I'm not giving you like any slack. You're grown. Figure out why you act like that. Figure out why you operate like that. Figure out what about yourself is lacking so you know how to stop yourself from treating other people that way. I've learned to stop explaining myself. Protect my energy. Focus on me. Have a plan. Be okay with starting over. Be okay with doing it alone. Be okay with just enjoying and trusting my own company and trusting myself with the next chapter of my life. Like a little a post where it was like, I'm so excited for this next chapter of my life because I personally know the author or something like that. And I agree. If you are good, you and God are good. If you don't believe in God, you in the universe, you in spirit, you in theory, whatever, you're good, you're one, you're aligned, things will start to come. And manifestation is instant, okay? Regardless of what anybody says, it's instant. So, message to you. Everyone wants freedom, you included, but not everyone is willing to pay the cost that freedom requires. Freedom costs certainty, comfort, friends, mental health. A lot of trade-offs in the beginning that you're going to have to be willing and ready and prepared to give up in order to have that freedom. Freedom costs everything outside of yourself. And a lot of people are not comfortable with themselves, and they really have to come to terms and kind of have like a soul death before they really can understand all of this stuff. Because I personally had to do that. So I want to end it out here so it's not too long. But my closing thoughts is the goal was never money. The goal was peace. The goal was ownership of my time. The goal was ownership of my life. Cost of freedom is everything that's truly not you. I know. It sucks and it's hard. But again, if you're anything like me, and you're so sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're just ready for a change and need things that come from yourself, and you just are sick, I cannot do this anymore, I can't do it anymore, then you're just like me for real. But the reward is so rewarding, and the reward is, and that is the cost of freedom. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope something in this video resonated with you. And if you are having a hard time right now, just know it is not the end of the world. Just know that you're not crazy. Know that, you know, if you can be sane in an insane world, something's wrong with you. So, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Everybody crazy in their own way. But if anybody tries to tell you trying to break away from the pact or the mold, something is wrong with you, just know it's because they never tried themselves and they don't know what they're talking about. So, I will see you guys very soon. Stay blessed, stay grateful, stay consistent for yourself. See you guys in the next one. Bye.